Not used to being able to do
We're
that.
not on air.
This may be the better of the two options.
Good up here. Come on. What's the word today?
From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Young.
What's going on out there in Radio Land? It's Tuesday, and that can mean only one thing. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today is coming to you live from the Lee Company studio. Glad to be with you as we get your week started on radio, at least. Hope you guys had a wonderful Labor Day weekend full of college football. High school football kicked it off on Friday. It's a lot of fun. We did our show yesterday. If you didn't know that, just wanted to let you know that it is available. YouTube, Facebook, podcast. You want to hear us talk about our reaction to Labor Day weekend and all of those things, you can find it Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, whatever. All kinds of great stuff. Mo, what's going on, man?
Another day in paradise. Still show prepping over here.
I hear you. Well, for those of you who may be thinking, is this a live show or is this a recorded show from way back when? This is live.
Back to the future.
Back to the future as we return to the Front Porch Sports headquarters on West 7th, as our West 7th cam is back and better than ever.
The cam is better than ever. The view
West 7th hasn't changed.
hasn't changed.
Sorry, Chaz.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Yeah. Still a lot of orange cones. Still a lot of construction barrels.
But not any hot rod tractors or backhoes.
Or backhoes, yeah.
No hot rod backhoes recently that we've seen, so we'd like to see him come back through, though. He was a lot of fun.
You'd like to see something come through.
Anything. Tear this thing up.
Anything that indicates progress would be good.
And
Because right now, ain't a lot.
not a lot going on out there. It's pretty tough. Dire straits and I feel bad for the asphalt company and the paving company who can't do anything because AT&T still. I've seen 2 trucks out here in the last 6 months, and they were here for about 6 hours total. Man, brutal.
Chaz Mulder,
Sorry, Chaz.
not a happy camper.
No, I can't imagine.
I can't wait for this thing to get finished just to see what he's going to say and do afterwards.
He may. Well, I'll tell you, when I-22 was finished, the governor of Alabama literally stood in the middle of the highway and did a ribbon cutting because he was like, this is the greatest thing ever. It only took 56 years to get it finished. So,
Well, where would you cut it? Down here at whatever the next street is past Garden coming this way, or would you cut it back up at the other end?
well, that's a good question. I guess I would do it with. I don't know. I guess it really matters.
Could you have Mayor Mulder cut one at one end and Vice Mayor Martin at the other end simultaneously?
There you go. That would be your ideal situation. Let's
see if we can't get that to work. And
Chaz
JP
Mulder may not be the mayor when this thing is finished. He may have been retired.
Oh, goodness.
Who knows? Anyway, for those of you down in Franklin County who are listening going, what the heck are y'all talking about?
Sorry.
It's just it's a boondoggle here in Columbia with the West 7th.
Just be sure all the major thoroughfares in Winchester are paved.
You know, they're
be
almost
happy.
all 4 lanes too.
Yeah.
Almost everything in Franklin County is 4 lanes.
That's a good thing.
That's called planning. So anyway, we have a lot to get to today. Got a great show. Obviously, we're going to talk to Chip Walters about the Blue Raiders and their big win on Saturday. And of course, we'll talk more. We'll talk some Titans. We'll talk more college football. It's Top 5 Tuesday, so that's always exciting. We're going to talk about the top 5 college football upsets, which is always fun. But before we do any of that, we're going to get you the Tuesday rundown.
This is the Rundown. This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated.
It's a pretty thin schedule on Monday, and we got none of those results. So Tuesday volleyball action. Columbia Academy plays at Battleground Academy at 5:30 today. Collinwood is at Loretto at 6, as is Columbia Central at Lincoln County. Also at 6, East Hickman at Santa Fe, Hampshire at Summertown, Zion Christians at Franklin Christian at 6:30, and in matches that we don't have times for, Independence is at Franklin and Lewis County is at Mount Pleasant.
And in girls soccer action tonight, Culleoka at Cornersville, first touch at 6 p.m. Also at 6 is Richland at Zion Christian. Columbia Central hosting Franklin County at 7, and Spring Hill hosting Lincoln County also at 7.
Golf action today, Brentwood and Spring Hill play at Towey. Columbia Academy and Lipscomb Academy at Stony Brook. Columbia Central and Nolansville are playing somewhere. Frank Hughes and Santa Fe at Ross Creek down in Clifton. Franklin and Independence are at Towey, and Summertown is playing at Centerville against an unnamed opponent.
Not Hickman County.
Maybe.
Maybe not. We don't know. Well, that's going to do it for your Tuesday rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today. Top stories, Week 3 high school football stats on MainStreetMurray.com. They are available for your stat leaders. Rushing leader, Destin Wade. Can't imagine that. Had no idea that was coming after his first week performance.
Yeah, go figure.
Passing leader, Joe Cummings. And receiving leader, Independence's River Katina.
Yep.
So if you want to know the rest of those lists, visit mainstreetmurray.com under the sports
That's
tab.
some pretty intriguing numbers there. I mean, we've got it broken down: number of games, number of carries, average per carry, average per reception. So I think there's some pretty insightful stuff there.
Definitely go check that out. We've got a few minutes left here, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Mo, because last night was incredibly tough for some folks, especially on Twitter. Apparently, the targeting rule in college football is just not good.
Is it not?
The rule may be good. I think the
intent of the rule is good
yes,
because it's a player safety thing. I think the execution, maybe I shouldn't use that word. Maybe the way the rule is being enforced isn't the best.
the enforcement is the problem, not the rule.
And I think maybe the rule maybe needs revisiting, because there are instances where as you are getting into position to make a tackle, your target changes. And all of a sudden, where you were in position to make a clean and legal tackle, because the ball carrier's body has moved, you're suddenly in a position where if you continue in the direction you're going in, you're going to wind up getting flagged and ejected for targeting.
Both of the first two targetings that happened last night, I think, were because of that.
See, I didn't see all of them because I was in and out of the house.
So the
getting stuff on the grill.
The first targeting was basically a dive play up the middle, 2-4 hole, something like that, or 1-3 because it's on the left side. 1-3 hole, somewhere in that area. Linebacker comes up and puts his face mask on the running back's chest, just like you're taught to do. The running back's head dips down, so the crown of his helmet hits the running back in the head. I don't know how you avoid that.
I don't
as
either.
a tackler. So therefore,
when
the
he's getting ready to put his face mask in dude's chest, dude drops his head, and all of a sudden it's a crown.
that's correct.
Shot.
It's a crown to the offensive
chin.
player's chin
Yeah.
or ear hole or whatever.
That's tough.
You can't. There's nothing you can, especially when
as a defender, there's nothing you can do about that.
linebackers typically are 3 to 4 inches taller than running backs.
So they have to get low.
They've got to already be low, which means they have to get, if their face mask is going to be up, their head still has to be out front.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like a launch. Well, if they're not launching, the people who launch are defensive backs. That's who launches. That's what this rule was intended for, was the defensive
To get
backs
rid of the
against
quote
receivers.
kill shots. Yeah.
Against
In the
defenseless
open,
receivers.
in the open field.
That's
pretty much.
what the rule was intended for.
Not for dive plays.
Not for this. And I'm not even mad at Jason Brown, because I thought he was right. Coach Jason Brown from Independence Community College, if you watch the video, he's like, in the box? We're calling this in the box? I mean, the 5-yard box between the line of scrimmage and 5 yards deep, there should be no targeting allowed in that box.
Okay, that is a fair statement to make. Jason Brown is still a clown.
Did you rhyme on purpose?
Not on purpose, but I'll take it.
And no, sure, but obviously, I mean, he's a football coach. He knows, he certainly has some sort of football knowledge. But in between the tackles, 5 yards deep, no targeting. Also, that reminds me of another rule that I'd like to change. I don't know if you saw that or not on Twitter, but if you fair catch a punt, any penalty on the return team during the return should not count. Like holding, it didn't affect the play. So if you're holding the gunner going down the field, and they fair catch it, clearly it didn't affect it because he still had to fair catch it. So if you fair catch it, you should not be penalized for holding during the return.
Well, as long as you're talking about that, you saw a situation during the
We have 30 seconds, but go get it.
during the Jackson State FAM game where somebody got penalized for a play that didn't count.
We'll talk about we'll get to that because this needs to be talked about. So yes, we're going to get to that. Penalties, they're a problem. Right now, we got the Braves coming up on the other side of the break, so stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns right after this.
the Braves play. Chris and Mo are talking about it,
Yeah, that's trash can juice.
Speak for yourself.
for better or worse, on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Back to the Lee Company studio. Yep, they're fans too. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Young, Mo Pat, and JP Plant with you here in the Front Porch Sports headquarters. Coming to you live on WKOM 101.7 FM and WZYXradio.net. Pick us up on the stream there across the world. Also, you can find our video on YouTube, which is always fun. Twitter has it live as well as Facebook if you are on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports or Main Street Preps Facebook. You can see it there. Hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your short week. And I hope the Braves get off to a good start in their long homestand. 9 games. So, good thing is the Nationals come to town, and always good when at some point we think we're going to see Fetty.
Yeah. Just ask Joe Simpson
Just ask him.
and Ben Ingram. They feel like you're going to score lots of runs whenever Fetty's out there.
Score
so.
some runs when Fetty's. But yeah, the Braves come in tonight, 6:20 first pitch, 5:05 pregame on our sister station 103.7. Unless is Hey Coach or
I thought that was Wednesday.
Vol calls us
Does
tomorrow?
Vol calls Tuesday?
I never remember.
Fall calls, I believe, are Wednesday.
Okay.
When
So
is Hey
tomorrow.
when is
Hey Coach is Thursday.
But that's on this
But Hey
station.
Coach is on here.
Yeah, that's on
Correct.
this station.
So.
Yes. 6:30 following Murphy's matchups on WKOM.
There you go.
What we do have here today, following this show, is Sports Mix Live. Is that right?
On WZYX. yes.
Correct. With Will Davis. So
I wish I could. I met the girl who's a Reds fan. Speaking of baseball and all, I met her this weekend. She was at the Columbia Central Franklin County game. And so I think she's on there occasionally, too, talking about the Reds.
now,
So
now, when you say girl,
she's like 19.
okay, all right.
To me, that's
Oh, listen to you playing the age card now, huh?
Yeah,
Now you're old.
I am.
Okay.
I am, in fact, old.
All right.
I mean, it's my birthday month, so let's raise the roof. Bitch, by the way, speaking of my birthday, my birthday is also the birthday of this show on radio. And we might as well have a double party. So
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today, we're going to have a double party. Give us about a day or two to get ready, and we'll announce the details. But we're going to have a party.
Kind of reminds me of that Target commercial with Bruno Mars, Perm. It's my birthday. No, it's not. But I still look good though.
I still look good, though.
Hot comb hot. I'm not gonna sing it.
That is a new,
A new sound effect. A new.
and I like that one. That one was good. A little deeper.
It is a little deeper. Yeah, we got some new toys.
Some new
here.
toys.
New toys.
Some new stuff for
New
JP
toys.
to play
So
with.
I may throw, I may test you out like that. I don't, or something like that.
Wow, that's a rock guitar.
Yep. Or little jazz.
Hey, DJ Yazzie Yao.
Or Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver. Of course, we always got that one.
That one's slower than
It is slower. It draws it out.
It does. It's like your take
More
was
in your
so bad.
face. Yeah.
That's a bad one right there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway,
One more.
one more.
Funky. Getting funky on WKOM. Good Tuesday afternoon. There we go. All right. So anyway,
You were talking about Bruno Mars, and
There we go.
you got
A reasonable facsimile thereof. Yeah.
dang. He's just Push all the buttons. Man, we're having a good time today on this show. I'm glad that that JP is having a good time too. Braves, I hope we're still having a good time come tonight because Max Fried's on the rubber, and that's always a good thing, or has been lately.
Yeah, 11-7 with a ERA still under 4, 3.51. So goes to the mound at Truist against Paolo Espino, 4-4 with a 4.08. As you said, it's the first of a 9-game homestand for the Braves, the first of 3 games against the Nats, who come in at 57-80 and a shell of their former selves. So,
yeah, I think again, and Max over his last 7, 4-1 with a 1.76 ERA, 46 innings pitched in those 7 games, only giving up 33 hits, 9 earned runs, 5 walks, 46 strikeouts with an 0.83 WHIP.
and the best thing is
That ain't bad.
he gets to hit.
And he gets to hit.
So
I mean, he's hitting what? I don't know what his. Let's see.
better than the average pitcher.
310 for the year with 5 ribbies on 13 hits.
Better than a lot of guys who get paid to hit.
Yeah. 42 ABs, 13 hits, 5 ribbies. 7.36 ERA. I mean OPS. ERA. 7.36 ERA, not so great.
I know.
How did we acquire him?
Max Fried?
Was
Was he
he-
in the Andrelton trade?
I think he was because he was a 7th overall pick by the Padres in 2012.
Padres.
And I'm not sure how.
No, here we go. On December 19th, 2014, the Braves traded Fried, Jace Peterson, Dustin Peterson, and Malik Smith to the Atlanta Braves in exchange for Justin Upton and Aaron Northcraft.
Wow. That's
Think the Braves won that trade.
no doubt.
Malik Smith was pretty good there
He-
for a little bit
Yeah. I mean,
as a fourth outfielder kind of guy.
he was needed at times.
Yeah.
So interesting. Glad you could find that because I did not know. I thought it was. And rest in peace, Copy.
He's not dead.
His baseball career is.
It is.
It is.
It is.
It is DED dead.
It is. The Andrelton Simmons trade brought Sean Newcomb.
Oh, well, we could have kept.
Yeah, that one didn't go so well.
No, it did not.
That one didn't go so well.
Oh man, I'm really excited for this homestand because the Braves really need to. They're only a game and a half up after last night. The Phillies whipped the Brewers. I mean, just destroyed them, 12-0. So the Braves have got to put some wins on the board over these next 9, and there's no reason they can't.
Yeah, I mean, much like the last stretch that they went through and took advantage of. Again, you got Washington coming in here, you've got Miami coming in here, and then you've got Colorado coming in here, and that's again
Putrid Road
Colorado on the road.
Right, the Putrid Road Rockies.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a chance for them to really do some damage here, and
Road Rockies way worse than Rocky Road.
or way better than.
Road Rockies way worse than Rocky Road. Just saying.
Okay. Anyway, again, we saw what they did a pretty good job of taking advantage of subpar teams. Easy for me to say. The last time.
And August was a good month for the Braves and beating teams you're supposed to beat. And
Something to be said for it.
especially after this weekend, right? So there's that.
JP could have went all day without you saying that.
It's not what I meant by that. I mean, there were a lot of upsets this weekend, which is what prompted our top 5 for today.
Yep.
College football upsets.
For the record, I did bring that topic up, so
You did.
I'm I'm
He's
not
cool with
shying from it.
Okay.
I knew that probably would be a topic, or make the rundown.
Yeah.
Perhaps the top 5. It should. It probably should.
I don't want to get too far off into the weeds. I'm just not sure. Is East Tennessee over Vanderbilt an upset?
Stop.
It shouldn't have happened, but
Stop.
yeah.
Don't say that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
It did not look like it on the field. I'll grant you that. I will grant you that.
East Tennessee walked in and said they are who we thought they were.
And they didn't let him off the hook.
Did not let
Right.
them off the hook.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Mo, tell us what happened this day in Braves history.
September 9th, 2017. Scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, the Braves walked off Miami 6-5. Ozzie Albies' one-out double scored Nick Markakis, pinch running for Big City Matt Adams. And after a Freddie Freeman intentional walk and a Lane Adams fielder's choice,
Who?
what did I say? Freddie Freeman intentional walk and a Lane Adams
Who?
fielder's choice. Freddie?
Who is Lane I don't even know this guy.
Well, I can't help you.
Exactly, because you kept going back to Freddie, hoping I was just going to skip right over it.
No, but Lane Adams is, he's a guy. He's an actual guy. He's
No,
on
I
Twitter.
know, but
Okay.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, well, he
That's my point.
Yeah, well. Kurt Suzuki singled to score Freeman with the game winner. The comeback made a winner of former Shelbyville Central and Lipscomb University standout Rex Brothers, who struck out the Marlins in order in the top of the 9th and improved to 3-3 with the victory. So,
Look at you. Nice job, Rex.
little local
Local flavor.
There we go.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Mo, if you got nothing better to do this week, and there's not going to be much better to do, then get out to First Horizon Park. Because the Nashville Sounds hosting the Memphis Redbirds. And if you've not looked at your weather app this week, it is going to be the best possible week to get out to the ballpark. It's supposed to be like 80 and the high, and then by 7 o'clock, it's going to be like 65. So wear your light jacket and go enjoy some baseball. Sunny skies, clear skies, whatever it is. It won't be sunny by then, I guess. Clear skies, cool weather, perfect for a night at the ballpark.
I'm trying to get over the fact that you don't know who Lane Adams is.
Man, I don't remember this dude.
He played like 2 seasons. Yeah, 2 seasons, 2017 and 2018 with the Braves.
How many ABs he get?
He he got 134 ABs in
That's less than one a game.
in
Come on.
111 games
Yeah, no.
in 2 years. Hey, 5 home runs, 20 RBI, 10 steals,
10 steals.
and 7. Yeah, his Twitter handle is at LA_Swiftness. He could run a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, again, going back here, in 117 major league games, he stole 11 bases.
In his career?
Yeah, that's his.
So he played both years of his.
Well, he
Wor-
got six games in Kansas City in 2014.
Did he go with in 2014? Mm-hmm. So he was still in the minors for a couple years before we pulled him up in 17.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know how he got here,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Medlin trade maybe. When did we trade Medlin?
No, he signed as a free agent.
Well, there you go. Anyway, the Sounds send Dylan File to the rubber. 1-3, 4.84 ERA. Don't know who he's going to throw against just yet. They've lost 5 of 6 at Louisville and 18 of their last 24, including 4 in Memphis of the 6.
Yeah, I think so.
Not great.
Yeah, they're definitely skidding right now. So y'all need to go down there and
Help them out.
wish them some luck. Change their luck.
We're going to talk Titans depth chart and some other NFL news on the other side of the break. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, returns to the Lee Company studio right after this.
sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant, coming to you live from the Lee Company studio in the Front Porch Sports headquarters, WKOM 1017 FM, WZYXradio.net, and worldwide on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Plenty of options. You want to find us? We got you. Well, you got options. Options are good. It's nice to have. Want to talk a little bit in this segment about the Tennessee Titans as they released their depth chart. I guess it was this morning. And I guess the weird thing is that the left tackle position, they're going to try to start three folks there. And if you can get away with it, hey, feel free, I guess.
Unbalanced line.
I mean, or right tackle, I'm sorry. Sambrello, Lamb, and who's the other one? Is it Delario or I forget who the third one is. They have
The third one is the rookie, I would guess, isn't it? The kid that they drafted.
Reduns?
Yeah.
He's a guard.
Oh, okay.
He's behind Nate Davis.
Well,
right now.
I don't know who it is then.
I just thought that was funny. And I guess the unique thing to me, the first thing that I noticed, if you guys haven't seen it, is that Chester Rogers is currently the slot guy over Josh Reynolds. So there's that.
Reynolds isn't on the COVID list, is he? Or otherwise hurt?
I don't think so. That's kind of, I think that's the biggest shock to me, I guess.
I don't know how big a deal it is, though, other than who goes out for the first play on offense. I mean,
Well, sure. I mean, it's nice to have,
those guys are going to play.
Yeah.
I would imagine every receiver on the 53-man is going to play against Arizona, so I'm not sure how much difference it makes, again, other than who goes out there for the first play.
Yeah. Ferks are also not the number one tight end. Jeff Swaim listed as tight end
Did
one.
you see they signed Michael Pruitt to the practice squad?
I did see that,
Yeah,
which is solid.
I agree.
That's a good. He's good to have if you got to have him.
Well, he's good to have. He's a guy that's familiar with the organization and vice versa. He's been productive in his time here. I mean, obviously, there's a different OC, and so things may be there might be some different wrinkles offensively, but it's a guy that you're familiar with. And I think when you can bring a guy like that back, again, who has been productive when he's been here, it's a good thing.
I agree completely. Here's how the roster or the depth chart looks right now. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill's your quarterback, Derrick Henry at running back, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Chester Rogers, your three receivers. David Quesenberry is the guy who is apparently first on the list. Then Sambrello, then Kendall Lamb. Nate Davis, Ben Jones, both of those are in parentheses, which may or may not mean COVID. I'm not sure. Roger Saffold, Taylor Lewan, Jeff Swaim round out the offensive line and tight end position. That's a pretty dangerous offense, which we already knew that was the most likely, I guess, that was the most likely thing to see, was this Titans offense was going to be dangerous. Now, defensively, they don't look bad. Danico Autry, Tier Tart, Jeffrey Simmons, Bud Dupree, Jayon Brown, Harold Landry, Jack Rabbit Jenkins, Kevin Byard, Amani Hooker, Christian Fulton, and Rashaan Evans as a starter.
I think he's going to be better than a lot of people anticipate him being this year, in a walk year, pretty much, after they didn't exercise his option this past season.
Well, David Long Jr. is, and Monty Rice are the two who back the inside linebackers up.
Mm-hmm.
Rashaan Evans has an opportunity to make some money and could make the Titans regret not picking up that 5th year. But so far, he's been average. Not what you expected coming out of Alabama.
And maybe that's the issue. Maybe
The expectation.
the expectations were a little high.
Did they take him in the first round? I think it was a first
I think it was
rounder.
a second rounder.
Maybe in a second rounder. Either way, you hope those first and second round guys can make impacts pretty early. And Rashaan has made impacts with drawing penalty flags, kind of like some other first round picks that the Titans have made. So there's that. You know, he's like, woo-saw. Just pull your ears like Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys. Woo-saw.
Yeah, let's wait until we get into the season before you get me going in that direction on that guy.
But this defensive line and inside and linebacker core really makes me feel, and what we've seen in preseason, makes me feel pretty good. I'm excited about this defense because I really feel like they're definitely going to be better than they were last year, and that's all we need them to be, is a little bit better.
Yeah, well, and you knew they were going to be better. I mean,
Right.
Well, for one thing, you'd like to think they couldn't be any worse, and
There's that.
Hopefully, nobody says "hold my beer," but just getting Shane Bowen solidified as DC. Kevin Byard isn't going to be as bad as he was last year. The additions that they made on that side of the ball, both in the free agency realm and in the draft, you just feel like they're not just going to be better than they were last year. I think they're going to be decent. And like you said, I think that's all they have to be with this offense.
That's right.
They don't have to be top 5. They don't have to be top 10.
Be average.
Just yeah.
Don't be worse than
Middle of the pack.
17th. If you're not worse than 17th, Titans are going to win games. Some folks think they're going to win championships.
Some folks on ESPN, didn't they? Yeah.
He's a former Titans player, but yes.
Sorry. That doesn't make him wrong.
Right. No. Nobody else on the show thought he was. Everybody else thought he was on something. But this is a team that went to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. Made the playoffs last year despite having one of the worst defenses in the history of mankind. You've added to this offense that was already dangerous. You upgraded from Corey Davis to Julio Jones, for goodness sake.
And that is no shade to Corey Davis, but that's an upgrade.
So I don't you lose Jonnu Smith, but I'm not sure how big of an impact that's going to make. At the time I was worried. Now I'm much less worried than I was.
And again, as we've discussed on this show, whoever lines up at tight end for the Titans is going to have a chance to have a solid season and then some. Because when you got Jones on one side, you got Brown on the other side, and whether it's Rodgers or Reynolds or whoever in the slot, and
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
they got to figure out who they're going to cover. Plus you got Double Deuce in the backfield.
By the way,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
forget you got to tackle Derrick Henry on occasion.
Yeah, so
That's
it's going to be fun to watch.
that's why I don't understand the hesitancy of people talking
To recognize
about these.
this team.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If you're talking about the top 5 teams right now that could win the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, the Bucks,
And then the Titans should be in the next group
the Rams,
behind that.
yeah, the Rams, the Titans. That's about it. That's why I was talking about that about college football. Everybody's talking about how the NFL is so much better. I'm like, still the same 5 teams that could win the Super Bowl. I mean, rarely do you see somebody just come out of nowhere and make the Super Bowl. Now, the Titans may come out of nowhere because nobody else in the country is giving them.
They're not really coming out of nowhere. It'll just be a lot of people saying they came out of nowhere because they
Right.
didn't give them any shine from the jump.
right.
Yeah.
But the Titans are among the 5 teams that I think can win the Super Bowl.
Hey, I'll say this, though. The Saints.
I don't know. I don't know because I don't. Their wide receiver core is in shambles right now. That none of them like each other. Michael Thomas is a problem.
You don't worry about Michael Thomas, but who is the kid from UT who's down there? Or the
Kamara?
rookie? No.
You're talking
the
about,
rookie receiver,
I picked him up in my fantasy draft,
and you can't
and
remember.
I can't remember
his name.
his name. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I couldn't call it. Let's see here. I got it right here. Palm. No, he's with the Chargers. Josh
Yeah.
Palmer.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So I don't know who it is. But I don't know about the Titans. I mean the Saints. I can't tell you. I think the Falcons could be a sleeper team because when you have a guy like Matt Ryan, you have a solid quarterback. You have a chance.
Marquez Callaway.
Callaway. Okay, he's not a rookie. He was there last year. So but yeah, you're right. Callaway was a big part of that team last year too. So,
Well, that's what threw you off. Huh?
Yes.
The fact that I referred to him as a rookie. Yeah.
but he was a rookie last year, so that makes
My bad.
makes sense. But yeah, I think he's going. I think the Saints could be one of those sleeper teams. Sure, no doubt. Real quick, I'm just going to get an answer to your question since I mentioned the Rams. Who wins more games this year, Matt Stafford or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff in Detroit?
Yep.
Oh, Matt Stafford. That's
Who
not
would-
even close.
Who would win more games if they were still where they were?
Matt Stafford, probably.
I don't know. Matt Stafford has a chance to lead that Rams team to an NFC championship.
I
game.
think,
Seahawks, they're in that second group too.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I think with good people around him, Matt Stafford really elevates his game. And I don't think Jared Goff, I think Jared Goff is Jared Goff wherever he is.
I agree. I love Matt Stafford. I think he's gotten a bad rep in the NFL. So
Playing in Detroit will do that unless you're Barry Sanders.
or Calvin Johnson. So. All right, that's going to do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 brings you Chip Walters in college football playoff predictions, top 25 talk, college football upsets. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns right after this.
Chip, can you hear me here?
Yes.
Okay, good deal.
Chip can hear
He
us.
can now.
That's awesome.
30 seconds.
Hey,
back.
Chip. That's pretty cool, JP.
Pretty good.
There are pros and cons to everything.
All right, 20 back. Stand by. I'm muting everybody.
From the Blue Raiders to the two-tone blue, covering the teams you care about. It's only on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you with us here in the 5 o'clock hour of this Tuesday edition of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Getting off to a good start here in week number 3 of high school football season, week number 2 of college football season, and week number 1 of pro football season. It's almost like they did that on purpose for us.
I don't know if they did it on purpose in terms of high school football, but I'm pretty sure that pros stayed away from Labor Day weekend with all intent.
No question.
Yeah. So,
Don't give yourself a chance to lose, right?
yeah, because they would have.
Kind of like a lot of those FBS teams did to FCS teams.
Yeah, don't give yourself a chance to
Don't
lose.
give yourself a chance to lose.
Except,
Unless you're the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders, who had no issue with the FCS perennial playoff contender Monmouth on Saturday. And joining us now is the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, to talk about that. Chip, are you at the Boulevard already?
Yes, I am ready for tonight.
That's exciting news.
they get you some apps yet?
What, like the Blue Raider app, or are you talking about the kind that you shove down the old the hole?
The
pie hole.
I'm actually doing. I'm working. I'm setting up equipment and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
goodness.
that'll
Okay.
come later. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you taking some time with us. 50-15, Blue Raiders take care of business on Saturday.
Yeah, and it was kind of one of those nights that was pretty satisfying because of exactly what you said when and as you would expect, you got the best shot from a good team that has won back-to-back conference titles, gone to the NCAA playoffs, and they kind of threw everything at you, and you got a new offensive system, and you didn't score in the first quarter, but got things. And really, I thought very efficient the rest of the way on out. And what they did, in the second quarter, and you look at game management and clock management, things like that, they were able to maximize their possessions in the second quarter and put 21 on the board in the second quarter. And really, Wes and I talk a lot about it, because I'm always aware, okay, he's got the ball to start the second half, and can you get it, kind of 2 possessions for 1 here late in the half, and put some points on it, and that's what Middle did. Bailey Hockman in his debut as the starter, looked pretty impressive. About over 70% completion rate, and it was not all screens. There was a little more downfield. You had some long balls, one to a touchdown to DJ England Chisholm that was just, I mean, he put it right down the chimney. DJ got a foot in right inside the pylon to get the touchdown. Great, a really good catch. And then you had Jalen Lane, who came up with some big catches. He was listed as backup receiver, but probably had the overall best night of a receiver. Had a touchdown catch in there, another catch for about 25 or 30 yards, set up a touchdown. The running back kind of by committee. That was if you put your finger on, is that Middle never really got that running game to where, you could hand it off 2 or 3 times, get a first down late in the game. They ended up with about 90 some odd yards of rushing net. And, and that was enough to keep everybody honest. Amir Rasul did look pretty good in his opening debut as a middle player, but Shaitan Mobley probably had the couple of the most electrifying runs from the running game. The former Fulton Falcon, Middle had the ball first and 10, first and goal at about the 10, or first and 10 at the 11, something like that, and put in a Wildcat set, and with Mobley running it out of the Wildcat, and he picked up about 5 yards. So it was at about the 14, 15-yard line. He picked up 5 yards, got the ball to the 10, and then they ran the same play again, never touched, went in for the score. Kicking game was strong. You scored points on a punt return. You had place kickers were perfect. They didn't attempt a field goal, but got all the extra points. So there was work to be done. But when you have a game like that, you come out with a decisive win. It certainly makes teaching on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday and Wednesday a little more fun, and the guys now get set for a matchup with number 19 Virginia Tech on Saturday.
And a Virginia Tech team that is, looked pretty good, I guess, this past weekend against North Carolina. But I want to go back just a second, Chip. You mentioned Jalen Lane with the touchdown catch. He also had a 70-yard punt return to get MTSU on the board to open the second quarter. What kind of spark did you feel like that gave the Blue Raiders and an offense that hadn't really gotten a lot done to that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think it was a spark. I think it was a lightning bolt. And Jalen Lane, you're right. He scored in 2 of the 3 phases of the game himself, and was our Built Ford Tough player of the game. But anytime you get a special teams touchdown, it lights a fire under your ball club, and it came at a perfect time. It was kind of a scrum back and forth between the two teams. Middle's defense was playing good. Offense was just, waiting to get untracked. And you're right. That seemed to be the spark that got that done.
I do want to go. I want to talk just a little bit about Bailey Hockman and Chase Cunningham. Hockman had a fantastic game, 17 of 22, 215, 3 touchdowns. Pretty good start for the transfer. It really was. And he seemed, and both he and when Chase came in too, they both very much had a command of what they were doing. And when Chase came in, not a big drop off. He did what he does, and in that situation, when he was called upon, did what he was asked to do. Then you Mike DeLello, kid out of Atlanta, who's the third quarterback. Well, they used him as a wideout and a decoy when they ran the Wildcat package, and he also came in and had some mop-up duty late. So going into it, we were told all 3 quarterbacks would play, and that's exactly what happened. You had 3 quarterbacks, about 5 running backs, and probably 10 or 12 receivers that all played in the game, and everybody got involved. The thing is, it doesn't make for great stats for
any one particular running back or any one particular wide receiver. Quarterbacks can have some pretty good numbers, but when you buy in and you've got, and it's a team win like that, and when people don't care about some of those things, then you've got something good happening.
As you mentioned that, Chip, looking at the run game, no ball carrier had more than 7 carries total. Nobody rushed for more than 27 yards. I mean, do you feel like as the season progresses, some of those guys will get more work and will be more productive in the run game? 113 yards on the day.
Yeah, and I think so. And I think, that Brett Dearman is going to give those guys an opportunity for somebody to go right ahead and grab some of that. Who can come in and you produce, they're going to keep you out there. I know that you talk about staying, keeping backs fresh and all that, but if you get a guy that's got a hot hand, and Dearman, when I talked to him last Thursday before the game, and I asked him, I said, is it going to be running back by committee or are you looking for somebody to get a hot hand? He goes, yes. He goes, it'll be that. It will be by committee until somebody does get to the hot hand, and I think that's a good, healthy way to go at it. And in that, you give everybody a chance, if you can early to shut the other backs out. And I think you're going to see some good things out of Amir Rasul. Frank Peasant, sophomore out of Pensacola, very, very versatile and physically just looks totally different than he did a year ago. He's really, and there's several guys that you got to give a tip of the hat to Matt Hickman in the weight room, that they looked really, really good from a physical standpoint. So they got their hands full this week with a Virginia Tech team that was kind of a throwback to some of the really good Frank Beamer teams. I mean, they gave up over 300 yards, but only 10 points to North Carolina. And that is kind of a throwback. Burmeister, their quarterback, is a really good operator. I'm not sure he's going to go out there and throw for 400 yards and win you a game, but he's not going to get you in trouble. And the running backs, Blackshear, had a good game for them. They've got a really good tight end, and they're just kind of locked down on defense. So, Middle's got to get creative, see what they can get done, and we'll see what happens. Good early kickoff on Saturday, 1:00, and it's going to be their whiteout day at Lane Stadium as they have their 9/11 tribute in recognition of 20 years since that tragic day.
Wow. I am glad that you took on Mr. Peasant's name because I never would have read it that way. So appreciate the heads up on that. Has Owens scouted out some eateries for y'all up in Blacksburg?
Well, we're actually we're having Roanoke, and so but yes, he'll be over here after a while. So we do expect some amount of intelligence from him. So we'll see.
There you go. Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today. Just want to throw this out there. We don't have much time left. I just wanted the information out there. Bailey Hockman last year against Virginia Tech, 7 of 16, 82 yards, 2 interceptions. So hopefully for the Blue Raiders, he will have a better outing in 2021. Chip, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
I do want to throw one real quick thing.
Go ahead.
Peyton DePriest became the all-time leading goal scorer in Conference USA history when she scored a goal on Sunday afternoon against Houston Baptist.
Franklin, right? Franklin product there. So well done, Peyton. And Chip, again, well done to you. We appreciate your time. As always, we will talk to you next week, and you won't be as busy next week, hopefully, thanks to that Monday night Labor Day. You kind of had to pull double duty tonight, and we appreciate you doing it for us.
All right. Thank you, boys.
All right. Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders, hanging out with us on this Tuesday edition of Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. When we return, we're going to keep talking college football, playoff predictions. After we've seen everybody play now, I didn't want to do it before because I was like, who knows? We'll talk about what the top 25 looks like as well. So come back with us. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns to the Lee Company studio right after this.
covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We are getting caught up from the weekend of college football, as last night, obviously, we had that Ole Miss Louisville game. And in the first segment, we got to talking about targeting and other penalties and whatnot. So we might as well continue that discussion, at least for just a few seconds. Because there has to be some sort of nuance in college football when you're talking about certain penalties. And targeting needs, they need two ways of doing it. You need a targeting one and a targeting two, much like flagrant one, flagrant two. I know college football doesn't want officials to have to read minds. I get that. But I think it's obvious when someone is launching and when someone is trying to make a tackle. I didn't think the slide that Matt Corral did, I didn't think that – I mean, it was targeting because he hit him in the head. But Corral slid awfully late. So both of those players were headed for the tackle, and Corral decided – oh, crap, let me get down. So I think there has to be some sort of intent, or at least it has to look as though there is intent if we're going to do that.
Yeah, I didn't.
What? There you are. Hey, welcome back, Cotter.
Hey, we got this far. That's pretty good. 90 minutes before the first microphone update. Oh, Mo, did you have something to say?
You don't mind if I talk, do you?
I appreciate
I mean, last time I looked, I was the Hall of Famer that you're referring to.
There we go.
As we come back in.
There we go.
Nice.
Okay. No, I've lost my spot. I did not see the Matt Corral slide, so I'm not really familiar with the play that you're referencing. But, you know, I just think that as we were talking earlier, there are times when the offensive player, you know, consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously kind of creates the targeting. And I think officials have to be at least aware of that when they're making a call that is going to result in a player not being eligible to play the remainder of the game.
Or the first half
of the following game.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's what I think the problem is. I think the ejection part of it is my least favorite part of the rule. So that's my real big beef with it. Now,
as long as we're beefing about officials.
Well, I did mention that, you know, I think that we should wave off flags if you fair catch a punt, because if the holding or whatever doesn't affect the punt or the return, then
if there's no return for it to affect,
then why are we enforcing penalties?
Yeah,
I think that's
logical.
It just makes too much sense,
and that's why it'll never happen. Yeah,
but Sunday, FAMU and Jackson State are playing. All right. Now you got a situation where it's 3rd and like 4 or 5 at like the 14-yard line. Guy from FAMU, quarterback, drops back, throws the pass. It's batted down about a yard downfield by a defensive lineman. No whistle is blown. Nobody blows the whistle. All right.
By the way.
So Jackson State scoops it and scores. Now, officials are taught to, if you are not 100% sure, let it play out. We'll fix it on replay.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that if that's the way you're going to do it. The problem was that on 3rd and 4 after this scoop and score, Jackson State gets a little rowdy on the celebration.
Because it's a scoop and score.
It's a scoop and score for from 94 yards away or
You know,
whatever
it's like
it was.
Chip was just saying in the last segment. If you get a special team score, it tends to kind of juice things up a little bit. Same thing on a defensive score. I mean, anytime somebody that's not supposed to score
like,
scores,
big man touchdowns.
yeah.
You get a little excited. So they get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Go back on replay, and it clearly shows. I mean, it wasn't even close. I don't know why they didn't blow the whistle because, I mean, his arm went all the way through. The ball was not batted down out of his arm. It was batted down in the middle of the air. So they don't blow the whistle. They throw the flag. Now, because they didn't blow the whistle and allowed this scoop and score to happen, which in turn turned into an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after the play, it means half the distance to the goal,
Automatic
first down. So had FAMU ended up only kicking a field goal, which they would have at least attempted either way. But if they had scored a touchdown there, if I'm Coach Prime, I
will just tell you, if I'm Coach Prime, I get thrown out of that ball game.
you'd have
And it wouldn't have been my first because I've had it happen. But you are calling a penalty on a play that you consequently say never happened.
So you tell me how
we get penalized if
this
the
is
play
your
didn't take
fault.
place.
This is your fault.
Yeah.
You caused this. So anyway, there's that.
If a penalty is called on a play that is consequently negated, then everything that takes place after that play should be negated as well. But it makes too much sense.
Especially if it's, because of that play. So, it's insane. But anyway, who are we, Mo?
And what do we know?
What do we know?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I just thought I had to get that in there. But let's move on to the top 25 because I got some bones to pick with this too.
Well, of course you do.
I will give the AP credit. The AP didn't leave Oklahoma at 2 just because they were at 2. They took into consideration that they beat Tulane by 5 and that Georgia beat
In Norman.
Yeah, and that Georgia beat Clemson, who was also a top 5 team. So at least they made the effort to do that. The problem is that Georgia Clemson game was LSU Alabama 2011 all over again. So I'm not even sure that either one of them deserve to be where they are. Georgia now sitting at 2, Clemson at 6. Meanwhile, Iowa State dropped from 7th to 9th after winning, and Notre Dame went from 9th to 8th after going to overtime with Florida State. What is going on here? You got an answer?
I've got an idea.
Have you got a thought?
I do have a thought. My thought is that based on the way that these teams looked, I think Notre Dame looked awfully good. And
So did Florida State.
I know.
Is Florida State ranked?
They are now.
Where? 20 what? No, they're not.
Are they not?
Nope.
I thought they were.
Nope.
Maybe they're.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Florida State
Is not ranked.
got 4 votes. 4.
They should have gotten some votes. They look like a top 25 team.
4. Auburn, meanwhile, gets into the top 25.
I don't have last week's or the preseason top 25 to reference, but
Penn State moves up from 19th to 11th with their win over Wisconsin.
I thought they could have.
I thought that was
more.
good. I thought that's probably right. Now Iowa State, I will say Iowa State moved down too because they beat Northern Iowa by 6 points. But
There you go. Who looked better on Saturday, Notre Dame or Iowa State?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the AP is at least taking into consideration what teams look like, and they're not just saying, well, we ranked them here, so that's where they got to be till they lose.
Well, this is the week to do it as well.
And I will give them credit for that.
I'd agree with that. This is a week to do it. I mean, because this is the first time you've seen most of these teams, and maybe even though some of them won, maybe they didn't look as good as you had anticipated.
UAB got more votes than Florida State, by the way. UAB, who now, granted, they absolutely destroyed Jacksonville State, and in a week where FCS teams were
Won 6 games?
won 6 games, I guess that's something to be. There's something to be said for that. North Carolina is still in the top 25 after losing to Virginia Tech.
Well, that's
Virginia Tech
that's a
now
tough
in the
place.
top 25.
At 19. 2 spots behind Coastal Carolina,
Who plays Kansas?
which hosts Kansas on Friday night. And I guess the Jayhawks are hoping that everybody's focus will be on high school football
Yeah.
instead of on their game in Conway, South Carolina. I guess they just couldn't turn down a trip to the beach because
Sure.
so Coastal, this is the 3rd game of this series, this 3-game contract, I guess. Coastal wins 12-7 in Lawrence in 19. They won 38-23 last year. And the question that I tweeted out prior to the show, why did KU not buy this game out? Why would you play this game if you're Kansas?
Yeah, you did ask that question. My answer, since I'm answering both of your questions today,
Well, thank you.
was
I'm just glad my mic is on.
yeah. I know. Yep. I think exposure is one. Coastal Carolina is still a known team and a hot team and a team that one of the small college teams, I think. So there's that, and I think you're right. I think the trip to the beach. I mean, and two. Listen, the first 2 games of this series were
That's why
in
you
Lawrence,
played
right?
on Friday, Mo.
So you go to the beach on Saturday?
They were in Lawrence, were they not?
Yes.
So I think this is Kansas fulfilling their contract to go to Coastal because it's a big deal for a Power 5 to go to Coastal.
And I appreciate Kansas for doing that because that shows a lot of a little respect on their part. So I don't know when this game was scheduled. Well, I wonder if it was scheduled the day after, because today is what the 7th or 8th anniversary of the cat and dog reference from one of their former coaches.
Joe somebody. I can't remember his last name.
They were a
man.
Russell team back then,
Oh, good
so
Lord.
who knows? He said we got a bunch of cats and we need to be dogs or something.
Be a dog.
Be a dog.
Be a
And it was
dog.
awful.
DAWG, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. We got about 3 minutes, so let's go ahead. Let's get your college football playoff predictions. I don't think anybody can touch Alabama. I'm not sure if Alabama shouldn't be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I mean, I'm not sure anybody else deserves to be in the top 5 at this point,
Other than Alabama.
other than Alabama. But I'm going to go with Alabama, and unfortunately, I'm going to go with Notre Dame because I don't see any reason that they don't get in at this point. I've got, surprise, surprise, UCLA. I talked about that yesterday, and Ohio State. Not in that order, just
Yeah.
That's your
those
4.
are my 4.
I've got 2 of the following 3.
All right.
Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M.
2 of those 3.
2
Okay.
of those 3.
I'll agree with you.
Yep.
We talked about that yesterday, too. A podcast is available. Go check it out.
I've got Ohio State,
Okay.
and then what? and any 2, pick them. No, I've got Oklahoma.
Or that's 4. You got
No,
two.
that's it.
You got 2. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah,
thought
that's
you were
4.
going. I
No.
thought you were, okay, so
No,
you got
I've
Oklahoma.
I've
Okay.
got 2 of
2
Alabama.
SEC, yeah.
2 SEC.
Ohio State and Oklahoma.
State and Oklahoma.
What do you got, JP?
Definitely Alabama.
No matter what, Alabama's getting in unless
Yeah.
they lose to. I think they lose at any point as long as they don't lose to anybody other
Yeah.
than Texas A&M or Georgia. They're in.
Yeah, it's definitely Alabama. I agree with you. I think you have to consider Texas A&M and give them that chance to beat Alabama. I think you definitely have to. So I'm with you. 2 of those 3 from the SEC go. Then Ohio State, although Penn State could sneak up.
Could be.
But you still have to put Ohio State right there now. And UCLA or Oregon. I mean, I think I go west. I'm not sold on Oklahoma yet, but
Well, I understand not being sold on Oklahoma, and I understand that Oklahoma has laid an egg every year they've gotten in.
but if they win out, they're in. You're right.
I think the committee is going to look for a way to get the Pac-12 in.
And I can see that.
That's the only thought process. So stick around. College football top 5. College football upsets. Historical upsets. What are the top 5? You'll find out in just a minute. Come back. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns after this.
lists are for suckers. Oh, did I leave my mic on? It's Top 5 Tuesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Here's Chris and Matt.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant with you here. It is time for a list. I like lists, at least top 5 lists on Tuesday.
Sucker.
Lists are for suckers, and they are. It's okay, though. I ain't mad about it. I ain't mad about it at all. What, you guys find any crazy, unique ones yet? No.
Nothing
Is my
too
mic
crazy.
on?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's on.
Okay. There's one. I got one interesting one, I think.
Good.
Yeah. I'm pretty stoked about it.
Well, we'll
actually.
tell you that our top 5 list is brought to you each a week by Mid-South 5 Fitness. Mid-South 5 Fitness with 2 great locations, one in Columbia, one in Franklin. Go see Thales Steel. Check them out, steelathletes.com. That's STEEL athletes.com. Again, Mid-South 5 Fitness, proud sponsor of Top 5 Tuesday. Fellas, any honorable mentions? Because I have one. Well, technically 5. But it's in one. It's
Okay.
5 in 1.
Go for it. I do not have any honorable mentions.
All 5 wins for Sewanee, University of the South, in the 7-day stretch.
1899. By the way, there's an article on The Athletic that came out.
That's what reminded me of it
Okay. I shared
when I
that
saw
on Twitter.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So, University of the South, baby.
Charter member of the SEC.
So all 5 were upsets.
Well, I guess the 5th one was probably not as much of an upset as the first one. But I don't know. They didn't allow a point, so
Yeah, what, 91 to nothing? in
Yeah.
those
yeah,
5
that
games?
was crazy.
It may have, the 5th one may have been as big an upset just because news didn't travel then the way it does now.
That's true.
Maybe they hadn't heard about, they didn't have a chance to ask somebody.
Sewanee wasn't bringing the newspaper with them, were they?
Exactly. Yeah. So,
They don't want you to know.
yeah, that element of surprise, man. Shoot. There you go.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, that's my honorable mention. So
All right.
right.
I'll get it going with number 5. How about
Get it going.
all right.
All right. Because I'm a Vandy fan, and because this is going to make me feel better, number 5 is Georgia State over Tennessee.
That's fair.
Yep. Okay. Carry on.
I guess I kind of thought you might be going Vandy over Georgia in Athens.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's top 5. Yeah.
I will go with my number 5.
I saw that one coming, Mo.
You got me. You got me a little flustered there. I would have to say, Miami of Ohio has always had some big wins. I don't think any is as big as the 86 win over LSU. Terry Morris
Who?
was the quarterback at Miami, Ohio. Obviously, LSU not an easy place to win, but Miami of Ohio gets a 21-12 win at LSU in 1986.
That was not a great LSU team.
It wasn't,
I
but
think
it's
they
still,
were in a little bit of turmoil there. It seems like they had a coach fired the year before or something like that. I'm not an expert. I just mid 80s. I remember that they had a lot going on down there. So,
There's always a lot going on down there.
well, that is true. My number 5, and it's probably not as big an upset now as it was then, but Boise 43-42 over Oklahoma in overtime at the 2007 Fiesta Bowl.
That was a big one.
I think that was as Boise was starting to get on the map. Maybe that game put them on the map. So
Yeah, the bigger upset may have been she said yes to the marriage proposal.
And they're still together.
There you
are
go.
they?
They are,
Well, that's
in
cool.
fact, still
Well done.
together.
All right.
13 years.
So
All right, number 4, Chris. This one's for you. Jacksonville State over Ole Miss.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Go Gamecocks.
Stay cocky.
Yeah, always.
So,
And he does.
yes, I do. My number 4. My number 4 is UCLA over Alabama in 2000. Coming off the SEC championship and the Orange Bowl loss to Tom Brady in Michigan, Alabama ranked number 3 in the country, goes out to the Rose Bowl. Freddie Millens returns a punt for a touchdown on the first time that Alabama touches the football, and they got rolled after that. It was absolutely nuts. My grandmother was there, and she was ticked. You want to talk about mad? She was mad, boy.
Wow. My number 4, and I'm not sure that the number 5 team in the country winning at home qualifies as an upset, except when that number 5 team is Texas Tech, and the team they're beating is number 1 Texas in 2008, when the Red Raiders and Michael Crabtree came back to win 39-33.
Well, that was a good game.
That was a hell of a game. Yeah, absolutely. All right, number 3. This was the last SEC team to lose to an FCS before Saturday night on West End. But I honeymooned in Charleston and worked a few college football games down at the Citadel. So the Citadel over South Carolina. But that's my number 3.
Not the Citadel over Arkansas, which resulted in the firing of Jack Crow and the ascension of Joe Kines, greatest interview in the history of college football. Joe Kines against Texas Tech when Alabama beat him in the Cotton Bowl. Yeah, I didn't know Joe Kines was the guy who took over. But I looked it up.
Yeah.
Like a couple of weeks ago, because for some reason, I don't remember why I was looking it up. But yeah, Joe Kines was actually the interim coach there. He took over after Jack Crow got fired.
Yeah, on a Monday.
They were like, dude, you can't lose to you. It's bad enough to lose to a service school, but if you lose to one in the in Division I AA, you got to go.
AD wants to see you.
And bring your playbook.
Exactly. Yeah.
My number 3 is the 41-point dog Stanford Cardinal over USC in 2007. That was because, I mean, USC was still on that run. And that was like the big deal. That's really how
Harbaugh, right?
That's really how Florida kind of Harbaugh was the coach.
Yep.
That's really how Florida kind of ascended into the BCS talk there because of that game.
My number 3, TCU, don't call them Texas Christian, winning at number 7 Oklahoma in 2005, 17-10.
Was that an Andy
Dalton
led Horned Frog team?
Could have been.
That could have been.
Could have been. That sounds about right with that.
Sounds
time
about
frame.
right.
Yep. All right, number 2 happened this past weekend. The Grizzlies of Montana over Washington. That's big. Washington was ranked,
Washington was ranked.
Washington was picked by several to win or at least compete with Oregon for the Pac-12 North.
Well,
and they still can.
And that was the that was the first win for Montana in that series in like 100 years.
It feels a bit less likely.
I agree, yes. Technically speaking, yes.
Ty Gunn was the starting quarterback for TCU.
Oh, wow.
In that ball game.
Man, I hadn't heard that name in forever. That was,
Ty Gunn.
and he was a lot of fun to watch.
Adrian Peterson was on that OU team, though. Yeah.
Not the other Adrian Peterson,
No, not the Georgia Southern Adrian Peterson.
who also very good running back.
Yeah. See, I'm with you here. All right,
My number 2, I don't know how much of an upset you can call it, but
Well, then what's it doing here?
I mean, you're gonna know, you're gonna understand me. The '93 Sugar Bowl, Alabama over Miami, was a massive upset. In that world, in that time, nobody saw that coming. And Alabama went in there and just absolutely destroyed Miami.
Yeah,
So that's my number 2.
that's fair.
Well,
and
big play that one. Ran him down from behind.
when,
George Teague, baby.
George Teague, yep.
when you say that, probably should have been on my honorable mention, but at the time I didn't consider it an upset. But Tennessee beating Miami 35-7 in the '86 Sugar Bowl
Yeah, the
following the
Sugar
'85
Vols.
season. The Sugar Vols, yes.
Well, and on that same note, LSU beating Tennessee in the 01 SEC championship game, which is the beginning of the end.
Too soon.
And
too
still
soon.
20 years
20
later.
years, yeah.
I'll never forget when Rohan Davey went down. I was like, oh, we got this in the bag. We playing for the Natty. We playing for the Natty. And Matt Mock.
Matt Mock said,
Matty
"Not
Mock."
so
And he
fast,
said-
my friends."
Matty
like,
Mock.
dude, are you kidding me? Anyway,
Yeah. So my number 2 is kind of near and dear to my heart. Benny Cunningham rushed for 217 yards and 5 touchdowns to lead Middle Tennessee State to a 49-28 win at Georgia Tech, September 29, 2012.
big one.
That was big.
That was big.
Yeah.
They got
I'd
some.
forgotten about that one.
They got some national run out of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Number one.
Number one. No shocker here. App State over Michigan. Michigan, of course, number 5, the Mountaineers. Yeah, no shocker there.
Listen, it's an upset. It really is. But Appalachian State was a perennial powerhouse.
So was Michigan.
in the FCS. And I know Michigan was number 5. I
So
get
was
it.
Michigan.
But it wasn't it wasn't East Tennessee
Thank
State
you.
or anything. I don't know.
Well, I think it was because while Appalachian State was a powerhouse, I think the gap between Appalachian State and Michigan was probably bigger than ETSU.
Oh, definitely,
And that team.
Maybe not. My number 1, JP.
We know who your number
JP
1
already
is.
stole my thunder, but it's okay. Jacksonville State, Ole Miss, Cody Blanchard, 4th and 30, finds a way to score. It was great.
I'm rolling with JP over here. App State, 34-32 in the big house. I just don't think it gets any bigger than that.
I can certainly see. I mean, that's number 1 across the world. I mean, if you look up any list, that's going to be number 1.
Yeah, the only thing that could be any bigger is if one of these 1AA FCS schools goes into Bryant Denny and beats Alabama right now.
Yeah,
That
if
would be the only thing that
Mercer
could be
Mercer
bigger.
was to win on Saturday, that'd be pretty big. But you're right. Let's get out of
He
here.
said begrudgingly.
It's Top 5 Tuesday. Mid-South 5 Fitness. Thanks to Thalas Steel for hanging out with us there. We got a big show tomorrow, too, as we get a chance to talk to Terry Wilcox. We'll get NASCAR. We'll talk some more. We'll hopefully have another guest. I'm going to ask Mo to secure that when we get off the show, because I want to talk some more Titans, etc. Of course, we got Braves. And it's Wild and Wacky Wednesday, so plenty of great stuff to talk about tomorrow. So come back as we get you ready midweek. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. I can't read that. Read that. Hurry. Oh, I can't.
UT is back. They beat Bowling Green High School.
That's right. UT is back. It is what it is. If we can play Kenwood and beat the Gators, if that's what it takes, I'll do it.
Greenwood.
Whatever. That too. Come back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. 4 o'clock. For JP Plant, Mo Patton, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.